Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Shalii Benessi. If you don't already know who I am, welcome, and if you do, hey. So I'm just gonna get right into it. I wanted to address today issues and subject matter and with correspondence to intuition and ego and trauma. So recently I came to the realization the other day that there's such things as trauma-induced intuition and trauma-induced ego. Now, what do these things mean to me? Well, for instance, for my own personal experiences, I have encountered various different types of trauma throughout my life, and I have even recently spoken to somebody in different professions that agreed with some of the ideas that I had presented to them in relation to trauma, intuition, and ego, and various other understandings of mental illness and mental health and how they interconnect with other understandings through different practices. And as you all know, for everybody that visits my channel here, this is a cult-related channel where personal truths are expressed and talked about, as well as how that transgresses into other truths outside of the individual personal experience, because the only way you can actually change the world is if you face and acknowledge your own personal truths and come to understandings and interpretations of what those mean to you. So, with that being said, what does trauma-induced intuition mean to me? What is my understanding of that? And how has that come into play with my own personal life experiences? Well, trauma-induced intuition is an experience of an individual who has been forced, or I guess you could say, some people would say they've been blessed or have been cursed with certain inclinations that have been projected to them through adversity experiences. So if you have a very negative experience, you will encounter the opposite effects of those experiences through attaining some type of understanding of it. And it's just like a knowingness, and it does align with how your chakras are centered. So for instance, if somebody's but this, mind you, this doesn't always happen all of the time. Sometimes traumas can happen that they are so bad that the damage done to the individual's experience and how that has their chakras and energy centers aligned, where it actually does too much damage, and it actually sometimes is irreversible. But in some instances, some people are blessed and lucky if, depending on what their experiences and mission here is for their work that they do, some people are able to transmute those experiences, like such as myself, and able to explain them at some point in the long run when they're ready. So with trauma-induced intuition, it heightens your sensitivity and your awareness to others' possible shadows within themselves. So this gives you a natural inclination and an understanding of how other people's shadows work, because you have faced yours, or somebody has thrown you or tested you with an experience to face yours very early on. So, and if you're willingly wanting to work on the challenges that come with these traumatic experiences, there are sometimes rewards from working on these experiences and gifts on the other side of them. What is it? There's a quote, or there's a saying that goes, someone once gave me this box of darkness, and it took me some time for me to realize this was also a gift. So there's that understanding. So when you have an adversity, traumatic experience, it can be a blessing in disguise if you are guided properly by someone who understands how to work with energy and understands alchemy and all those wonderful things. So, and Western psychology and Western medicine and stuff like that sometimes doesn't always work, in my opinion, my personal experience anyways. If anything, those people more so demonize and disregard alternative methods and understandings because it is a threat to their lack of understanding things that you can't see. Someone also mentioned to me today, gave me a very useful, wise insight into how, because I had said to this individual that, I feel like I'm so far behind because of my adverse experiences that I've had in life that I've always been more proficient and expertised in things that you can't see to the naked eye. These are my life experiences and these are things that I've had to deal with. I feel like I'm so far behind. And then she went on to say, they went on to say that, well, the foundations of a house, the most important parts of a house you can't see right in front. So, and I thought that was really helpful and very profound when they said that, because when you look at a house, you see all the windows, you see all the doors, you see what looks good on the outside. But what makes that house run and work properly for it to be a livable place, you can't see that stuff. So when that was expressed to me recently, that made me feel a lot better about doing such said things as what I'm doing right now and explaining all this stuff. So when it comes to understandings of intuition, ego, things that you can't see, like right at face value, that was really profound for me to know. So, yeah. And with a trauma-induced ego, our ego is our identity and what we identify with. And this is something that develops from the time we're in our mother's womb, and it gets very intricate and crazy. So we do adopt our parents and grandparents and ancestors' DNA, all the good and all the bad energies that come through our ancestors do come into present time with us. So when you're born and you have an adverse experience, it can also create a ego for you. And if your ego is traumatized, and you notice with people with traumatized egos tend to be very defensive, very hostile, and very sneaky and passive sometimes. So, and my understanding of that is, people with trauma-induced egos don't have the ability to self-reflect as much because it's too painful to look at the possible and potential understandings that dive deeper into their unconscious, which is why I brought up the trauma-induced intuition, because having these two understandings, bridging the gaps between spirituality and science, need to be considered and integrated in order for us to better address such said issues around trauma and PTSD, adverse life experiences, so we can help individuals develop their intuition well enough so that their trauma-induced egos don't get in the way of them creating a tangible and functional reality for themselves. And I feel intuitively the only way to do that is to inform them about these types of understandings and teachings. So yeah, that's all I got for that. And so consider these truths: trauma-induced intuition and trauma-induced ego, and try to come up with your own interpretations and understandings as to how those could be things for you. And share this information with your loved ones, friends, family, kids, grandparents, everyone. I think it's valuable, and if you have anything else you would like to add to it or share with me, any thoughts, ideas, please feel free to leave comments below. Be sure to share and subscribe to my channel. I might revisit this again in the future. Who knows? But yeah, thank you for tuning into this video, and I wish you all a very blessed rest of the weekend, and I hope your week goes great as well. So be sure to check out this channel every Saturday for updates on occult related subject matter. Thank you. Bye.